So I want to start off by saying that I don't play any sort of horror games ever. It's just not what I'm into. I don't even watch scary movies really, so this was quite a treat for me to play, I guess. Yeah, I don't think I would have even made it through the whole thing if Jill didn't wear such a really tight water suit. Thank you for that. Great job, Capcom. Anyways, though, I've never really been a huge fan of the Resident Evil series, obviously because I don't really like scary games, but I've played through the entirety of 5 and 6, just because those are co-op, and Weldon wanted to play those. But honestly, like, I think once you get kind of to this point, or maybe past this point a little bit, they really stopped focusing on the whole horror aspect of the games, I feel like, and it was more or less just kind of like a, I don't know, first-person shooter sort of, or not even a first-person shooter, a third-person shooter with just like puzzle elements here and there, and you fight like weird bosses or whatever. Like, I don't feel like these were really that bad, but this one had more of like the older style, like creepy atmosphere with like you having to run around and grab like actual items and stuff like that, and you're running through, you know, narrow corridors and a map and stuff like that. Like, I feel like if I were to play any of them that were like the old ones, this is the closest thing that I've played. With all that being said, though, this is the most confusing story I've ever seen ever. I don't know if the game ties in with the other games or not, but I guess that's the beauty of me just picking a game at random and starting wherever in the timeline that I did. But, so in between the first chapter and the second chapter, I think it's actually before the first chapter even starts, really. There's a fucking cutscene where it's like a news broadcast, and they're talking about this gigantic city that floats on water, and how there was a terrorist attack, and there was a whole bunch of monsters that got released, and they had to burn the whole fucking city down. So I don't know where that even ties into place at all with this, because you're on a cruise ship or whatever that has mysteriously been hijacked by the terrorist group, I guess. Like, that's the only connection that I can see, really. And like, the whole reason you go on the cruise ship in the first place is because Jill and her dumb partner that is not important to me at all have to find Chris and Jessica, but it turns out that it was a lie that they were on the boat in the first place, and Chris and Jessica were off in the mountains where it's snowy trying to find the terrorist group's base. Like, I don't know. This seems like the most like convoluted story I've ever tried to like even grasp. So I really just don't know what to tell you in that regard. Like, if you're into the Resident Evil and you know what the story's about, go for it, I guess. But me being someone who's completely blind to the whole situation, I have no idea what's happening. So after digging a little bit, I just now realized that this game was originally for the 3DS, which is kind of weird. Like, I wouldn't have expected that. And it came out in 2012, and then they re-released it in 2015, I think it is. No, it's 2013 for all of the consoles at the time. So it came out for Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 3, Wii U, and Xbox 360. And that was considered the HD version. I'm actually surprised at how well this game plays on the PC, on Steam at least. Like, I kind of expected them to, you know, prioritize the whole console release thing, because this doesn't really seem like a game that you would play on the PC, but as far as I was, you know, having no issues with the controls or anything like that. The one thing that I did have an issue with was, there's a section where you get locked in a room, like they capture you or whatever, and you wake up and you're in this room and you find your way out or whatever, and then there's this monster that comes out, but you don't have any weapons, and it's trying to teach you how to do this dodge, and you're supposed to like press W, or it says you can press space, I think, as well, but I could not get it to work like correctly for the life of me, and it was basically getting me killed over and over again, and it was kind of annoying. But I mean I don't know, it's small compared to, like, I mean, once you actually have weapons or whatever, it's not like a huge deal, so you only have to bear through that for a couple of minutes at most, so oh well. One thing that I thought was kind of weird about this game is that in between chapters, it kind of does this whole like recap sort of thing, which I didn't think was really all that necessary. I feel like most games don't do this, so I mean, you're kind of accustomed to like, you know, if you're gonna play a game and you play it all the way through or whatever, you're gonna remember what's going on. But I guess if you're not playing this game all the way through, it does the recap system, I guess, in between each chapter, where it kind of highlights the key notes of, you know, what happened in the previous chapters and what you'll need to know, I guess. Kind of like a recap on like a TV show or something. And I thought that was kind of cool at first, but then once I realized that it was happening every chapter as I was playing the game through, like all in one sitting, kind of, like, I thought it was kind of unnecessary. But I mean, I could see where it would play for different people in a different way. Like if you know, beat one chapter and you're like, okay, I'm good for now, I'll come back to the game, and like you end up waiting like a week or something, the recap would be more necessary. Whereas with me playing I think I played the whole first chapter and then the second 2 chapters back to back, like one day and then the next day, so I didn't really need the recap. I thought it was kind of like a time waste, but oh well. Altogether, I'd say that the gameplay for the game was actually kind of a nice surprise. I kind of enjoyed the fact that you kind of go through this cruise ship and you find different stuff, and in later chapters you'll end up finding something like there's a shotgun that you find kind of early in the first chapter, where you need some sort of device to activate on a pedestal or whatever to unlock the shotgun from this like little weird casing thing that it's in. So later in the game, I think it's like a chapter or 2 later, you end up finding the little, like, it's almost like looks like a manhole cover, but it's like a little crest or something like that. And then once you find it, you can make your way all the way back through, you know, the cruise ship parts that you have been through in the previous chapters of the game, which, I mean, it's completely unnecessary. Like, you don't have to do that if you don't want to. Like, you can completely just go towards the objective if you wanted to, but it kind of rewards you for like exploring and finding those things and then backtracking if you want to get them. And I mean, I thought it was kind of cool. I thought the shotgun was a necessary enough piece of equipment that I wanted to go back and get that, because at that point I only had a pistol, and it would have been nice to have a second weapon, especially one that was as powerful as a shotgun. So I don't know, I like that it rewards exploration and all that good stuff. As far as I know, I'm pretty sure all of the Resident Evil games do the whole, like, kind of, like, ease into, like, a couple of chapters and then give you, like, a boss battle sort of thing. I had an interesting time, I guess, with the boss that I fought. I guess it's the first boss, but you go through and you're trying to find the communications room, so that way you can try to, you know, send the signal off to your, like, headquarters or whatever to let them know, like, hey, we need help, we're stuck on the ship or whatever. And you end up busting open the door, and there's this just gigantic communications officer who's like mutated and stuff, and the whole time you're like walking up to his like area, you can like hear him over the intercom like trying to like communicate, like, and he's saying like normal human stuff, but like his voice is really distorted and it gives off like a really like creepy atmosphere. And then as soon as you like try to like unlock the door for him or whatever, he just busts out and chases you around and tries to murder you. So I feel like that was a pretty standard, you know, Resident Evil style boss fight. I feel like from what I've played of the other games that I have, it was, you know, up to par. So here's a clip of that, I guess. Oh, what the hell? Oh no. Oh! With all that out of the way, though, get to the score. I really didn't think this was a bad game by any means, but it wasn't like anything super great. There was a lot of cliche like voice lines throughout the game, which I thought were kind of dumb and cheesy, and the game kind of could have done without them. But I mean, I don't know, like, it's just the way the game was made, I guess. Altogether, I'd give it 2.5 ammo boxes out of 5. Pretty average game in my opinion. Like, I don't know, I could see myself playing through the whole thing if I really like, if I had to, but I don't really care for the Resident Evil series. If I did, I was definitely going to start at a a lower game, something that I could actually grasp the concept to, instead of something where this one is between Resident Evil 4 and 5. I feel like this is way too late in the series for me to give a shit about any of these characters, so oh well. Anyways, though, should be some links on the screen for you guys right now. Click them if you want to see some of my other videos. Subscribe if you want to see some of the more or in the future. And then, yeah, give me a like if you thought the video was good. Let me know some stuff in the comments if you want. And I'll see you guys in the next video.